Welcome back to Iran News. We're your hosts.
I'm Jawad.
Zoya.
And Tarun. It has just been confirmed that 7 missiles have hit 2 major Saudi Arabian oil facilities that are responsible for over 5% of global daily crude oil production. It is believed that this attack was carried out by Hezbollah, a Shia terrorist organization.
Hezbollah is funded by the country of Iran, which has been responsible for accelerating Hezbollah's missile program over the past few years.
A terrorist attack like this one is nothing new to the Middle East. Just 2 years ago in June 2017, ISIS, a Sunni terrorist group, attacked the Iran parliament building, wounding almost 50 people.
There is much more to these terrorist attacks than one might think, though. These attacks are simply an extension of an underlying conflict that has occurred in the Middle East for centuries now. A conflict between two ethnic religious groups, Sunni and Shia Muslims.
As you can see from the map, Iran is predominantly Shia, while its neighboring countries such as Egypt, Turkey, Syria, and Saudi Arabia have a Sunni Muslim majority.
To understand the differences between these two majority branches of Islam, we must look back at some background. The Sunni Shia split occurred about 1400 years after conflicts about who would succeed the Prophet Muhammad.
There were two candidates for this position, and the majority Sunnis candidate ended up succeeding Muhammad. This stirred some conflict and divided the two groups even further.
Until this day, the Shia still give a lot of importance to Ali ibn Abu Talib, who they believe to have been Muhammad's rightful successor, rather than the four caliphs who the Sunnis worship as their successor of Muhammad.
Because they follow two very different leaders, many practices and ideas of the two groups vary.
In 1916, the Sykes-Picot Agreement was signed between Britain and France to divide up the land previously controlled by the Ottoman Empire.
These two European powers were uninterested in understanding the ethnic religions of the area when dividing the region between themselves.
This division laid the foundation for Sunni and Shia borders today. Today, only 15% of the Muslims are Shia, and almost all of them live in Iran, meaning that Iran is surrounded by countries who foster completely different religions.
You mentioned some key events that have caused or occurred in this conflict. Another major event was the Shia-Sunni rivalry in the Iraq-Iran war. This lasted almost a decade.
Besides religious disunity, another cause of this war was that Iraq wanted to gain control of the oil-rich regions.
The former Iraq President Saddam Hussein, who was Sunni, was deeply concerned about the string of rebellions.
Iran and predominantly Sunni Saudi Arabia have also fought constantly over the past 40 years. The two countries' government have had many exchanges condemning each other.
This conflict is also an economic battle, as both Iran and Saudi Arabia have fought for the coveted Strait of Hormuz in the Persian Gulf, through which 20% of global oil cargo passes. As we spoke about previously, there have been multiple instances of terrorist attacks between organizations supported and funded.
In the late 1980s, Hezbollah was believed to have been responsible for multiple bombings on Saudi Arabia that targeted oil.
This conflict is hurting Iran's economy because America has the necessity to place sanctions. Prior to the escalation of the conflict, Iran's economy was starting to grow, but it has since spiraled downward because of the large decrease in the oil quantity out of the country.
These sanctions are especially hard on civilians. Inflation rates are very high at 35%, and many people cannot afford basic necessities. The unemployment rate at 10.9% shows that there are many people without jobs who cannot help the economy. The GDP per capita has also dropped from 20,000 to 19,000. The literacy rate is not very high at 85%. Overall, the government is busy worrying about tensions caused by the religious conflict and is
Moving on to the population pyramid, there is a large population between the ages of 30 and 40 years old, and these are mostly adults who have just had children. The government is not able to focus on providing education for the influx of children while focusing on a religious war.
Joining us now is our human geography expert, who will explain more to us about the Sunni-Shia conflict.
Hey guys, the Sunni-Shia split can be described by various elements of culture. This conflict is intrafaith, but it is between two different branches of one religion. Ethnic cleansing occurs in Iran because small Sunni populations are fleeing to nearby countries. For example, Syria. The common terrorist attacks are an example of genocide. Cultural relativism, or the judging of a religion by its own standards, is at an all-time high because according to a recent study...
We'll be taking a quick commercial break now. Don't go anywhere, folks. News will be back in a jiff. Soon we'll hear from one of our reporters stationed in the conflict center itself. Can you guess where?
Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever been in a situation where you have felt surrounded by people who didn't support you?
Yes.
More specifically, have you ever been felt left out by the Sunni sect of Islam?
Hey.
Well, we have the perfect place for you to practice the Shia Islam in our perfect Paradise Mosque. This mosque will provide you with the support system you have been lacking in your life, because the Shias here come together and pray, and it's a whole community. Not only this, but the Paradise Mosque has the most divine and elegant architecture, including a minaret made of pure marble and granite, similar to the Mecca. You should join the Paradise community because, get it, it's all free. Woo! But donations would kindly be accepted.
Welcome
Also,
back, folks, to Ayn
for
Rand
every
News.
new member,
I'm your host,
you'll
Silver
receive a
Vegasner,
free
reporting to you live from
Quran
Iran.
and a
I'm here
beautiful
interviewing
silk
Ayn Rand
hijab.
locals who are kind enough to provide their opinion
So
on the
come
show.
to Paradise Mosque to worship the true
How is the
brand
situation in
of
Iran? Do you think
I
that
will
your
be
country's
joining.
government is doing the right thing by using nuclear weapons and force?
Well, the situation hasn't improved at all. I mean, years of growing hostility and competition for influence have caused Iran and the Middle East to have taken steps toward indirect talks to try to reduce the tensions that have brought the Middle East to the brink of war.
But terrorism is still at large.
Yeah, it is. And in my opinion, nuclear weapons and force aren't really necessary since nothing good ever comes out of them.
How do you think the ongoing conflict could be solved between the two involved parties?
Well, first of all, religious bias in the government needs to end. There are too many religious groups influencing the government, including terrorist organizations. I mean, wait. President Trump just announced the death of ISIS leader al-Baghdadi. Whoa, this is a major step in diminishing ISIS. With the ISIS leader gone, this could mean good things for Iran.
What about the U.S.? How are they involved?
Well, from what I've heard, the United States receives oil from the Middle East, and it's pretty important for the economy. America also needs to protect their allies and personnel that are located here. They also need to protect the Gulf routes in the Middle East as well.
Those are some very valuable opinions from Iranian locals about the current status and some possible resolutions for the conflict. I think it will be really interesting to see what the future holds for Iran and for its government.
We will make sure to keep you updated with more news about Iran, the Middle East, and the ongoing ethnic conflicts.
Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow at 9. شكرا أن تفرجتوا. نشوفكم بكرة الساعة 9. أخبار